טוב. רגע. אני לא יודעת אם שומעים אותי. אוקיי, אז אני לא יודעת אם לעשות את הלייב הזה בעברית או אנגלית. I'm not sure if to do this in Hebrew or English. And how do I pin? Here we go, I pinned it. Okay, so let me see here. אז מה אתם אומרים, English or Hebrew? Do we have more English speakers here today or Hebrew speakers? Today's live is going to be about love and relationships, something that's just came up recently. אז אם כולם מדברים פה אנגלית, I'm going to do this in English. Yeah. Hello, welcome. Okay, so kind of before we begin, if you've just joined, I invite you to take a deep breath, just because we need a reminder to breathe. So take a deep breath from the stomach into your chest and hold the breath. And then slowly exhale, release the breath. Hey, Stephanie. Good. And again, deep inhale from the stomach into the chest. Michal, shalom. Oh, I should put do not disturb. And then slowly exhale. Yofi. One more breath. Inhale through from the belly into the chest. This time hold for 4 seconds. And release. Good. Okay, so I'm going to be speaking in English, as I said. Today's live, I want to bring up the subject about love, relationships. I think there's a lot of, and I'd love to hear your feedback as well, and maybe about what you're experiencing about love and relationships, whether you're single, in a relationship, or married. I think there's a lot misconceptions around relationships, and I think that kind of it causes a bit of a conflict or confusion when we do find a partner. And I kind of I want to shift that belief or that limiting belief that we have around relationships. We're brought into a world where if you have or are in a relationship, then you are a success, right? Then you have succeeded in life in something. It's just like if you make a lot of money, then you're succeeding in life. If you're in a relationship or married or have kids, then you've succeeded in life. And I'd like to just kind of shift that, because I think there is a bit of confusion around it. Do you guys agree with that? I mean, I'd love to hear if you can write down if you're single, in a relationship, if you're married, divorced, just to get an idea of who is here right now. What kind of, situations we're in. And I can tell you that even people who are in relationships are going to have similar conflicts to when they had before they were in a relationship, which actually means that that's not necessarily going to solve our problems, is it? Finding a partner. True? Not true? Right? Let's discuss that for a moment. So, first things first. Like I said, we grow up in a world where the expectation of our society, of our family, of our friends, everything we read about, every movie we've seen, is that once you find love, you will be happy. How many people have found love in their life? And later I'll be reading, I see that some of you are in a relationship, some of you are not, single mothers, 22 years, not married, right? Thank you. So that kind of gives me an idea of who I'm speaking to, so thank you. Okay, so basically, you will find the happiness if you find love. You will feel beautiful if you find love. It's like the end all goal. Okay. So, here we go. What do you think is the actual truth around that? Where have we been lied to? Lying to ourselves and been lied to. True love, finding your soulmate, settling down. I'm just throwing out like all these terminologies. And don't get me wrong, and I'm going to say this in advance. I do believe in a partnership. I do believe in, it's not believing or not believing. I think that's very healthy to be in relationships. I think that's where a lot of growth happens. And I think there's just, yes, that love will fix us. Thank you, Dee. That's exactly what I was trying to say. Yes. We think that once we have that love from a very young age, I remember as a child, like just fantasizing about finding this love, like, I don't know, from Disney movies of like the prince coming and saving me from myself, saving me from my life. Well, let me tell you something. It's quite the contrary. It's only going to add onto your shoulders. It's going to add more weight onto your shoulders if you are not taking care of you prior to finding a partner. In order to take care of us, a lot of times in the journey, we do meet. We connect to different people. We're drawn to different people, different men, different women that help in our growth process. And in relationship is where a lot of growth happens, because you're like, I can't stay away from this person. I'm drawn to them. I'm magnetized to them. It doesn't happen so much in friendships. It happens more in love and romantic relationships where we feel really drawn, right? We're like, oh, there's this thing that's pulling us. Well, that thing that's pulling you, that kind of like addiction or whatever that is, that's pulling you to her, to him, is a part of you that is still triggered, that is still unresolved from something from your childhood. Okay? Almost always. Because a healthy relationship does not look like the butterflies and I have to see this person, right? A healthy relationship is two people that come together to grow. Okay? So it doesn't look like this. It's not two people that come together to grow, right? If we're leaning on this person to feel beautiful, to feel worthy, to feel successful, to feel, that person is probably not going to be able to carry it, and we're not actually standing tall. Okay, so it's not really going to grow, and actually it's going to fall. And in order for a healthy relationship to grow and learn from, it's both of us coming in balance and meeting over here. And this is where the growth happens. This is where we can thrive. And of course, there's times in our life where it's shaky. But there's a difference between this and this sometimes and this sometimes, right? Like finding the right balance so that we can grow. Now, in order to come into a relationship or a dynamic with our spine held high, right? In coming in balance, we must take care of ourselves. We must first love ourselves in order to give and receive love to another. Okay, if we want to fully, wholly be accepted, feel worthy, feel loved, feel beautiful, feel successful, we must first feel that within ourselves and not from somebody telling us that, or not expecting somebody to tell us that, or not by somebody choosing us in their life. We think that if somebody chooses us, then we must be worthy. No, that's not why you're worthy. You're worthy because you are human. You're a child of God. You are a beautiful person, and you are loved, and you are not alone. And there is a little child within you that needs to be hugged if you cannot connect to the words that I'm saying, right? So if we think that finding worth is if we succeed at work, or if we find somebody that wants to marry us. If we think that that's going to make us feel worthy, maybe just for a moment, it's almost like if we buy that bag, we're going to be happy, but it's very short-lived. If you are able to do the work within yourself, which is still working on myself, yes. I mean, thank you for sharing that, Dee. I think it's a lifelong journey of working on ourselves, but if we can go deep inside, because there's some stuff that's hidden there. I call it like the monster that we don't want to look at, okay? If we can just look at that monster, that big monster is going to become a little bit smaller. It's still going to look like a monster, but it's becoming a little bit smaller. And you know what? When you can accept that monster, when you can look at it and say, I accept that I have these things. I accept that I feel unworthy, okay? Just to give an example. I accept the fact that I am stuck in this paradigm of thinking that if I'm in a relationship, I will feel more loved. I will feel more love, or I will feel better with myself, right? Just accepting that these are things like the limiting beliefs, or accepting things within ourselves. I am stubborn about relationships and love. Accepting, okay? It's very simple. We all have our stuff, and the second we can accept it, which is very challenging, but the second that you can accept that monster, then you can start having compassion towards it. And this is the inner work, right? So this is us digging deep inside and lifting it. So imagine it's like sitting deep in your stomach, and it's becoming closer and closer to your skin, okay? Because you're kind of lifting it. It's almost like lifting the veil. So here we have this monster. Now I saw it. Now I accept it. Now I'm compassionate towards it, and I can hug it and love it and treat it so that you both go in the light. And both of us going in the light would be that if it's surfaced already and you can see it, so every time you're triggered, you're able to clear it, right? You're able to see it. It's not like deep inside. And then when we're looking for love, or we're open to love and we're open to relationship, we don't find somebody to fill that in for us. That thing that we may have lacked as children. The love that we may have not received, right? So when we come fully from a place of love and acceptance towards ourselves, right? Then we will find that reflection. It's like a mirror. So throughout the journey, throughout the process, you're going to meet all kinds of people that you're going to be in relationships with, or not. Short-lived, long-lived. And that is all part of the growing process. What happens is, where I see, at least in I love you too, Marlo, at least who is the love queen. If you don't follow Marla Maples and you want to bring in some self-love, I really suggest going to her page. It's just beautiful, and she shares a lot of beautiful things. So thank you for being here. So what I was saying is that if we are able to fill ourselves up with love, with worthiness, with knowing that we are beautiful, and then we approach the relationship, the person, right? We magnetize the person. Like I said, this is where we grow. Throughout the process, this is what happens. So throughout the process, I meet this one, and I meet this one, I meet this one, I meet this one, and they're all part of. All of this can happen within one relationship. So you could be, married to somebody when you're much younger and you're going through life's journey. And as you grow, it's a reflection, and both of you are growing, right? And we grow together. So you can also grow within a relationship, right? You can also grow within, always. What I tend to do, especially when I'm very much ready for a partner, I wake up every morning and I feel love. I feel in love. I feel that somebody is reflecting love to me. I just feel it. You know that feeling when you're first in a relationship and everything just kind of is aligned and it just feels really good? You know that you can feel that all the time. You can tap into that all the time. You don't actually have to be in a relationship to tap into that. And when you tap into that, you're going to attract more of that in your life. So there is no main goal over here, right? There's no goal. There's no, I want to be in a relationship and that's it. That once I'm in a relationship, done. And that's where people get confused, because then you find that love and then you're like, wait a minute, but I still have these problems that I have to deal with. You were supposed to like change that for me. You were supposed to fix it for me. And come with all kinds of stuff, right? We all come with our own issues and problems and whatever it is, right? From both sides. So I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. What are the things that you feel that your current relationship is filling for you, or that you think it's filling for you, or that what would a relationship bring you? That if you would find a partner now, what are some of the things that you think that partner would bring you? That's my first question. And my second question is, do you have a question for me about your personal experience in relationship? Because I think every single person has some sort of, it's interesting when it comes to relationships and love, we all have all these issues around it, right? But if you treated relationships and love like anything else, like around, I don't know, like I brush my teeth or I eat food, right? So I pay attention to what I'm eating, or I don't pay attention to what I'm eating. I'll clean my house. And it's another thing. You know, we give it so much weight, being in a relationship. It's like the biggest, most important thing in our life, and this is what needs to happen. Why? Because that's the way we're raised. Now, I'm not saying there is no good or bad. There's no negative or positive. I want to make that clear. It just is what it is. We grow up in a society, but it can cause a lot of confusion, because it's almost like it's being decided for us before we even chose for ourselves. Okay? And it's confusing, because I go through phases in life where this type of relationship works, and there are phases in life where this type of relationship works for me. I don't have the answers, but what I do know is that I will always, always work on giving myself love. I will always invest the time to open my heart, because then I'm able to give without fear, right? I'm able to be clearer. It's almost like cleaning my glasses. I'm able to be clearer in what I want. When I think of that's another thing. Okay, have you guys ever like had somebody, I don't know if it was a coach or if it was in school or if it was your friends, have you list, what are you looking for in a man? I want him tall with blonde hair and blue eyes. He needs to be making good money. He needs to want kids. He needs to want this. He wants that. What you're doing there is blocking, limiting, right? Instead, I suggest that you feel what you want to feel in a relationship. What do you want to feel when you're in a relationship? Okay? Like I said, like I'll wake up in the morning and I'm like, you know, like I have that like rush of good feeling. I want to feel secure. I want to feel that it's a feeling, right? So it's sometimes hard to describe, but I can just envision a certain scene and how I want to feel in that scene, okay? Of this person that I love, that loves me, and it's just a feeling. And then it does not matter if he's tall, blonde, blue eyes, wants kid, not kid, okay? All that list is limiting us. When you connect to how you want to feel, you're opening up a limitless opportunity of energies of people to come in to your space, and you're not blocking it, right? When we make those lists, he's got to be a lawyer, he's got to have a nice car, he has to live really close to me, limiting, right? But if you can it will open up the opportunity of different energies to come in. And two, you'll be feeling the feeling already, right? You're kind of tapping into the feeling of how you want to feel. So once you tap into the feeling of how you want to feel, it's like, and it's the law of attraction. So you're kind of magnetizing it because you're already being it. You're already being in a relationship. without even being in a relationship, you're being in a relationship of love. And then it just kind of attracts it. And that's just how it works. That's how it's worked for me my whole life. Because every time, not my whole life, no. Erase that. Well, it does work for us our whole life. We just do it subconsciously. My whole life, or your whole life, we're always creating a certain magnet to ourselves, depending on what energy we're at, right? It doesn't, whether it's consciously happening or not consciously happening, right? It's kind of like how you wake up, you lose your keys, you get bummed, you're like running around and your whole day goes, blah, right? Because it's like this energy and you're not conscious of it. If you were conscious of it, you could shift it, okay? So when we are conscious of our feeling, our energy, what we're attracting to ourselves, when we're conscious of it, then we're magnetizing that to us. We can actually shift our life. So whenever I am ready for a relationship, which I am ready for a relationship now, I am able to I don't need to go on all the apps. It's not a negative thing to go on the apps, okay? Because if you go on the apps, it's also something that's creating an energy. The problem with the apps is because it becomes like an addiction. Okay, so we start like scrolling and we're like always there. And this is where if you can't control yourself on the apps, and it can also bring down the energy because you could be like, ugh, what the hell's out there, right? So like, okay, if that's something that you know that you have a tendency to get like bummed by being on apps, do not go on the apps. But you don't actually need to. You are the app. You're creating this energy. You're creating a sort of vibration that you're putting out there. So when I feel ready, I'm ready for a relationship. I am tuning into that. I am connected to myself, and that's how I'm going to attract it. Okay, now I'm going to read some of your messages and your shares, because I would love to hear what your thoughts are, or if you have any questions about love, about relationships, about why you may be stuck in a certain situation or a loop that keeps happening over and over again. I keep choosing the same kind of person, or I keep not finding a person, or I keep in my current relationship or marriage, I feel stuck. Stuck is a big one, right? Okay, I misunderstood what a relationship is for all my life. Yes, I feel I'm being born into myself again at the moment. Feels really good to listen to you. Thank you, Dee. Itzik, Maya Tasili Eled, wonderful. Yes. Great. So this is just some of my, a short share that I wanted to share with you about love and relationship, and how we can attract more love within, so that it could be without, around us, surrounding us, and magnetizing to us. So thank you for everyone who joined. Feel free to follow me or write me in my messages. I usually answer back, and I will post on my story if you have any questions about love, about relationships, about your personal situation. You can do it anonymously, and I will answer you. So have a beautiful day. And if no one has told you today, you are whole as you are. You are worthy. You are already love, and you lack nothing. So when you feel that you are stuck, or when you feel alone, or when you feel obstacles, let us not fight it, judge it, push it away. Let us grow, learn, and expand, so that we can be filled with more light, with more love, in order to spread that outwards. Thank you so much for joining.